Hello guys, welcome to a brand new video. I hope you're all well. Today I'm going to talk about something which lots of people have been asking me about on my streams or YouTube comments, and it's what on earth TrackIR is and why it might help you to fly better in ArmA. It should be noted that I'm not paid by TrackIR or Natural Point to make this, but I thought it would be a helpful video to upload since my channel does revolve around flying. I'll also mention there are of course other substitutes to TrackIR such as cheaper homemade versions which I will link down below. For now we're going to focus on the TrackIR 5 Pro from Natural Point as well as ArmA 3. However, it does have support for other games such as DCS, DayZ and Rust to name a few. I got mine back in 2014 and I haven't looked back since, if you'd pardon the pun. It accelerated my flying to dimensions I never thought were possible. I remember watching a video of Beagle and Dslyecxi dogfighting in the Harrier from ArmA 2 with their TrackIRs, and the sheer level of immersion from being able to track targets was just incredible to me. If you don't know what TrackIR is, it's basically an infrared system which sits on your monitor and bounces signals back and forth with something attached to your head. The Pro version has a better tracking signal and attaches to your headset, whereas the basic one lets you put it on a baseball cap. However, it doesn't track as well as the Pro one. When I move my head in real life, it moves my head in game without any input from my hands using the keyboard or mouse. The nifty software means that you can alter the ratio between real life movements and in-game movements. So in plain English, if you move your head 80 degrees in real life, it will move your character's head in ArmA 180 degrees, so you're not looking away from your monitor. That brings me onto the software. It's incredibly versatile really. You can make multiple profiles for different games and customize the amount of real head movement so you can make it super sensitive to your movements, or as shown here, create a dead zone so your view remains centered more. Having a dead zone is very important for infantry players who want to use TrackIR, as you need it to be snapped to your iron sights when you're in a firefight. For this, I'd recommend tweaking continually until you hit that sweet spot, as it is very subjective on what will work for you. I will leave my TrackIR settings as well as Dslyecxi's profile, which is what my profile was originally tweaked off of. My profile basically reduces the dead zone so I can look around more freely when I'm flying. Now, there are two main negatives in my eyes with regards to TrackIR. It is unfortunately still quite pricey for most, clocking in at around 110 to 160 quid depending on which version you buy. Also, if your monitor faces a window or a strong light source, it can mess with the infrared signal. Obviously a solution to this would be to play during the night or draw your curtains, but this is one impracticality that I thought I might as well mention. In terms of benefits though, if you're a big flight sim enthusiast or you just want to take your flying to the next level in ArmA games, this is the best decision you will make. I always recommend that you don't lash out on a joystick and you instead purchase a piece of head tracking equipment or even some pedals. Okay, so when I first booted up my TrackIR to fly around, it felt incredibly unnatural to me since my brain wasn't used to involving my head movements with gameplay. But after about 2 weeks of fiddling with settings, I found myself trying to look around with my head in other games that didn't have TrackIR support. After a while, it becomes something that you need to have. I never fly without it now, and my brain has formed the associations and muscle memory in order to utilize it. For landings, you will notice the biggest difference. When you are coming in for a bleed flare, it feels so freeing to be able to focus on the controls and simply look down in your cockpit with your head. Like, this is what pilots would be doing in real life. They'd be examining their LZ for obstacles on the final approach, not have their heads glued to one spot. Here, you can see two side-by-side comparisons of landings with and without TrackIR. It's much harder to get the right angle so you don't clip your tail on the way down, as well as react to nearby obstacles. General flying is also incredible. Just being able to tilt your head slightly to pan around areas of interest as you fly feels extremely immersive. As another note about general flight in ArmA, as you can see from this first video clip playing, I have TrackIR disabled. The view is centered in first person in correlation with the pitch of the helicopter. So to look up at my surroundings in forward flight, I have to either use third person, a higher field of view, or take my hands off the controls to use the Alt 3 look key. Now look at the difference when I have TrackIR on. I have complete free reign to look up and around without being fixed in one spot. I can look for incoming fire, targets, obstacles, and this all increases your chances of survival in the air. In terms of gunships such as the Pawnee, it saved me more times than I'll admit. I can scan the skies for an enemy Pawnee as I fly evasively to avoid enemy fire, utilizing two things at once: the controls with my hands and the recon with my head. Once I have a target, if he drifts out of my cockpit view, I can follow him with my head to respond appropriately. For example, I can respond with evasive maneuvers, a short bank if he's closer, or a backflip if he's on my 6. It's all situational and depends on the fight, of course, but it's definitely a piece of equipment that has brought me survival time in the skies and even the kills of other opponents. Also, it's badass as hell to follow the flaming trail of the Pawnee you just killed as you soar past. Who wouldn't love that? If you're on the ground, the benefits for TrackIR still continue really. Let's say I'm pushing along a wall and I want to keep aiming and using my mouse in one direction. I can also multitask and look to the wide open for any potential spots the enemy could fire on me from. This becomes second nature and you soon find yourself snapping to targets with your mouse after your head has helped you to spot them. Additionally, the human eye is attracted to movement, so when you're just moving your in-game head without turning your body, you become less visible to the enemy's scopes and eyes. To summarize, TrackIR is something that enhances your entire ArmA experience. It has support for multiple games, but as someone who has devoted 4,000 hours into ArmA 3, it's brought every session to life for me. Whether I'm scuba diving and swimming through the Stratus seascape, or scouting Tanoa's forest with my jeep, soaring through the skies of my jet, or sitting atop my tank hull as my battalion speeds forward, I feel incredibly connected with the game. Every so often, I press my hotkey to disable the head tracking to remind myself how limited and narrow the game feels without the ability to explore the world with a part of my body we don't usually use in video games. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Leave me a rating if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions about TrackIR, leave them down below for me in the comments. If you already own a TrackIR and you need help setting it up, I'd be more than happy to help you out. See you guys later.